Hey guys, today we're going to talk about an upcoming game, a game that's probably a year and a half away, and that's Hogwarts Legacy. I'm extremely excited about this release, being a massive Harry Potter fan myself, so I'm excited to go over what we know about the game so far in this video here today. So let's jump into it with a general description for those who may be hearing about the game for the first time. Hogwarts Legacy is an immersive, open-world RPG set in the world first introduced in the Harry Potter books. Now you can take control of the action and be at the centre of your own adventure in the Wizarding world. Embark on a journey through familiar and new locations as you explore and discover fantastic beasts, customise your character and craft potions, master spellcasting, upgrade talents, and become the wizard you want to be. Experience Hogwarts in the 1800s. Your character is a student who holds the key to an ancient secret that threatens to tear the Wizarding world apart. You have received a late acceptance to the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry and soon discover that you are no ordinary student. You pose an unusual ability to perceive and master ancient magic. Only you can decide if you protect the secrets for the good of all or yield to the temptation of more sinister magic. That's a bit of a mouthful. Discover the feeling of living at Hogwarts as you make allies, battle dark wizards, and ultimately decide the fate of the Wizarding world. Your legacy is what you make it. Live the unwritten. So you can see this on the official website along with the trailer, some of which you have seen in this video already. Next, we're going to click on the frequently asked questions right at the top here. It's a lot of the same stuff I just mentioned, but there is a bit more information in here. What kind of game is Hogwarts Legacy? That is basically just been covered. Who is publishing Hogwarts Legacy? Warner Brothers and Portal Key Games. Now personally I like both these because I'm a big fan of Warner Brothers anyway, Harry Potter being a big part of that, and Portal Key Games label is just a perfect name for any game developing a Harry Potter game, let's be honest. Next up we have, when does Hogwarts Legacy release? Now we know it's in 2022, not a very accurate date, hence me saying it could be a year and a half before we see this game. Next we have the platforms, and it's good news for anyone on any platform because it's basically releasing on everything. I'm not going to lie, this is my favourite. When a game releases on everything, I think is the best. It gives the game the best chance and everyone gets to enjoy it. Next up we have, what is J.K. Rowling's involvement with the game? Is this a new story from J.K. Rowling? So they're asking basically, did she write the story of the game? And the answer to that one is J.K. Rowling is not directly involved in the creation of the game. However, her extraordinary body of writing is the foundation of all projects in the Wizarding world. This is not a new story from J.K. Rowling's. So basically the answer to that one is no, she did not write the story of the game, but we will be in the Wizarding world and all the rules of the Wizarding world will apply. And that's basically what this next question answers right there. How does Hogwarts Legacy fit into the Harry Potter Wizarding world? So we'll scan over that one because it's very similar to the one we've just read. Is Hogwarts Legacy an original story? Hogwarts Legacy is an open-world, single-player, action role-play video game RPG set in the 1800s Wizarding world. Now before we go any further on this one, I think there's a massive point in here, and that is the word single-player. Now for me, I was definitely hoping that because they're making, Hogwarts to a high standard, I'm sure they're making all these other places that are in the Wizarding world to a high standard. I was hoping they'd be reused in multiplayer scenarios so we could enjoy them over and over, as well as a solid single player campaign. Now I'm not sure how they're going to do it, and I'm not sure if there will be multiplayer in the future, but it is interesting that they don't mention any multiplayer here, but they do mention single player action roleplay video game. So that's an interesting one. Personally, I want to see some multiplayer of some sort. I'll do another video on things I'm hoping for the game, but in this line right here, it does mention that it is a single player game. The story has players experiencing life as a student at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry like never before, as they live the unwritten and embark on a dangerous journey to uncover a hidden truth of the Wizarding world. Next up we have, what is the original story of Hogwarts Legacy? A player will experience life as a student at Hogwarts School. It's a lot of the same stuff again in the 1800s, and they do go over it again and again really, because a lot of the questions kind of can be answered with the same answer, and they do take that option to answer them in the same way here. I'm sure obviously they've chosen very carefully their words in this frequently asked questions so they don't give too much away, but there's little bits and bobs we can take from it and, you know, make of it what we will, really. Next up, we have how do you play Hogwarts Legacy? Hogwarts Legacy is filled with immersive magic, putting the player at the centre of their adventure to become the witch or wizard they choose to be. They will grow their character's ability as they master powerful spells, hone combat skills and select companions to help them face off against deadly enemies. Players will also encounter missions and scenarios that will pose difficult choices and determine what they stand for. Now, it seems to me that they're going a lot for what you stand for as a player, so I think there's going to be a lot in the game deciding whether you decide to be a dark witch or wizard or a light witch or wizard. Fighting for the good or fighting for the evil, which is really cool, and it'd be interesting to see how far they can take that. It's quite a hard narrative, I think, to pull off well. I've seen other games try it in the past, and it's just not easy to do, to have two storylines that may go in completely different directions, but kind of have equally as satisfying endings. Next up, we have can players choose and switch their Hogwarts house in Hogwarts Legacy? A player can choose their Hogwarts house at the start of Hogwarts Legacy. We'll have more details to share at a later date. Now, who are you going to choose, guys? Who are you going to choose? I guarantee the Slytherins are going to be the Dark Witches and Wizards. That's what you're going to go for, the Malfoys. And I have no idea now. I might go for a little Ravenclaw I'm feeling right now, see what Ravenclaw's got to offer. You don't see much of them in the film, so it would be interesting to see what they have to offer in the game. Next up, we have, will you see Harry Potter, Hermione Granger and Ronald Weasley in the game? No. Hogwarts Legacy is set in the 1800s, before the time period of J.K. Rowling's original stories, which is, I think we all knew that already. 1800s is well before Harry Potter and the rest of the gang were even born. Will Hogwarts Legacy adhere to Wizarding World lore? The answer to that is yes, obviously. It'd be ridiculous if it didn't. Does the game take place in only the Hogwarts Castle? The answer to that is no, it takes place in many different places, but I do hope that there's a lot to do in Hogwarts. I want there to be a lot of secrets that we can look into. I even remember playing the PlayStation 1 game, and there was a lot of secrets you could look into for a PlayStation 1 game, and not stuff that's too easy to figure out. Something that's going to be hard, and we're going to have to learn maybe new spells to get into new places, so it's not something we can do all in one before we move on, giving us reasons to come back to Hogwarts. Next up, we have what is Portal Key Games? Now, I'm going to just put this simply for you. Portal Key Games develops Harry Potter or Wizarding World games, basically, to put it simply, and obviously I'm sure they're going to do a great job on this one. Next up, we have what does Portal Key mean and why have you chosen it for this label? In the Harry Potter series, a portal key is an object enchanted to instantly transport anyone touching it to a specific location. Most of the time, a portal key is an everyday object that you would not draw the attention of a muggle. For Portal Key Games, it symbolises how games under this label will transport fans to their own adventures inspired by the Wizarding World. Personally, I think they couldn't have picked a better name or a better analogy for how it works. Absolutely fantastic. Transporting fans into the Wizarding World. Love it. Next up, we have what type of games will be developed in the Portal Key Games, and again, it's going to be Harry Potter games. We understand that. Anything in the Wizarding World, Fantastic Beasts and things like that. Are Portal Key Games created with JK's Rowling approval? The answer to that is simply yes. You can read this if you want to. So that's what we get off the website. Basically, that's everything we know so far, or everything I know so far. I'm sure there are plenty more articles with little snippets of information. If you have any more information, really good information, leave it in the comments, even bad information, leave it in the comment section down below, and I'll definitely get to reading them. I'm not going to lie, I'm a Harry Potter fanboy. I'm a big fan of Harry Potter. I've watched the movies so many times. I've played a lot of the games, not so much. I played them when they were really, really new games, PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2. Didn't really play it then throughout my teens, but I've been really waiting for a really good Harry Potter game for a long time. I felt there's a market for it, and I'm obviously not the only one because it's getting created. So yeah, I'm super excited. I know a lot of people are super excited about it. It's a long way to go, so hopefully we'll get a bit more information so we can get our teeth into soon. I'm going to leave this video there anyway. If you like the video, like the video. Subscribe if you want to see more. I'm going to be doing a lot more Hogwarts Legacy content towards when the game comes out and when we get more information. So hopefully check back for that and take it easy.